Have you ever stopped to look at your bank account and felt a strange mix of pride and deep-seated worry? You have worked incredibly hard for decades to save up a significant amount of money. Maybe you have reached that major milestone of $100,000. On paper, you are doing better than most people. But when you turn on the news or look at the rising prices at the grocery store, that pride often turns into a quiet anxiety. You wonder if this money will truly be enough to carry you through the next 20 or 30 years. You worry about becoming a burden to your children or having to cut back on the lifestyle you worked so hard to earn. The truth is, most people view their savings as a static pile of cash that slowly disappears as they spend it. But today, I want to show you a different way to look at your wealth. I want to show you how to turn that $100,000 into a financial fortress. This is not about getting rich quick or taking unnecessary risks with your future. This is about activating a silent engine that works for you 24 hours a day. It is about moving from the stage of manual labor to the stage of automatic growth. If you have already reached $100,000, the hardest part of your journey is actually behind you. Most people do not realize that the first 100,000 is the most difficult milestone to achieve. It is difficult because, in the beginning, almost every dollar comes from your own sacrifice. You saved, you cut expenses, and you put in the hours. At that stage, your money is like a heavy cart that you are pushing uphill by yourself. But once you reach $100,000, the math begins to change in your favor. This is the point where the invisible force of compound interest finally becomes strong enough to notice. Albert Einstein famously called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He said that those who understand it earn it, and those who do not pay it. When you have $100,000 invested wisely, each of those dollars becomes a tiny employee working for you. They do not take vacations, they do not get sick, and they never stop multiplying. At a reasonable rate of return, your money can start generating hundreds of dollars every single month without you lifting a finger. Think about that for a moment. That is a car payment, a grocery bill, or a travel fund that is paid for automatically. This is the shift from being a saver to becoming a wealth builder. But to make this work, you need a structure that provides both growth and absolute peace of mind. You cannot afford to gamble with your retirement, but you also cannot afford to let your money sit idle while inflation eats it away. This is where the 30-50-20 portfolio strategy comes in. This framework is designed specifically for people who want to protect what they have while still allowing it to grow. Let us break down exactly how this works. The first part of your fortress is the 30% allocated to fixed income and safety. This is your stabilizer. In a world where markets can be volatile, this 30% ensures you always have a cushion. It includes things like high-yield savings accounts or government bonds. These are the assets that keep you calm when the headlines are screaming about a market crash. When you know your basic needs are covered by this safe bucket, you can afford to be patient with the rest of your money. The second and most powerful part of your fortress is the 50% allocated to dividend-paying stocks. These are not speculative tech stocks or risky startups. These are shares in high-quality established companies that have a long history of sharing their profits with investors. Think of these companies as the foundation of the global economy. They provide the goods and services that people use every single day, regardless of what the market is doing. By owning these stocks, you receive a regular check in the mail or deposit in your account just for being an owner. This creates a consistent stream of passive income that acts like a second pension. And the best part is that many of these companies increase their dividends over time, which helps you stay ahead of inflation automatically. The final 20% of your fortress is allocated to real estate investment trusts. These are often called REITs, and they allow you to own a piece of large-scale real estate without the headache of being a landlord. You do not have to worry about broken pipes or difficult tenants. Instead, you benefit from the rent collected from apartment buildings, medical facilities, and data centers. Real estate has historically been one of the best ways to protect your purchasing power. When prices go up, rents usually go up too, which means your income from this part of your portfolio stays strong. By combining these three elements, you create a system that is balanced and resilient. One part provides safety, one part provides income, and one part provides a hedge against the rising cost of living. This is how you turn a pile of savings into a working engine. Now, you might be asking yourself if $100,000 is really enough to make a difference. Let us look at the numbers. If your portfolio earns an average return of just over 7%, your money will double every 10 years. That means your 100,000 becomes 200,000, then 400,000, and then 800,000. And that is without you adding a single extra dollar of your own. The key is to let the engine run. The biggest mistake people make is getting nervous and turning the engine off during a market dip. True financial freedom does not come from timing the market or finding the next big thing. It comes from consistency and discipline. It comes from trusting the process that has worked for generations of successful investors. When you have this system in place, your relationship with money changes. You stop seeing it as something you might lose and start seeing it as a tool that provides you with options. Options to spend more time with your grandchildren. Options to travel to the places you have always dreamed of. Options to give back to your community or leave a legacy for your family. Financial independence is not about being rich. It is about having the freedom to decide how you spend your time. If you are currently at the $100,000 mark, congratulations. You have already done the hardest part of the work. Now, it is time to let your money take over the heavy lifting. Review your current accounts and see if they are working as hard as they could be. Are you still pushing the cart uphill, or have you built a system that rolls forward on its own? Start by automating your investments and reinvesting every bit of income your portfolio generates. Treat your future self as the most important bill you have to pay. Remember, time is your greatest ally, but it is also the one thing you can never get back. The sooner you activate your financial engine, the more powerful it becomes. You have the power to build a future where you never have to worry about money again. A future where your $100,000 is just the beginning of a life filled with security and peace. Take the first step today. Build your fortress, protect your peace, and enjoy the freedom you have truly earned.